Sarah's Day has announced she's expecting her third child with her husband, Kurt Tills. Now, Kate, it is the news everyone has been waiting for since Sarah shared in December that she was starting to try.
I don't think anyone was too surprised by this news because she has been baiting it for quite some time. Now, what I was interested to see was how she decided to make the announcement. So she picked an Instagram reel and also a YouTube video. And the Instagram reel included a photo shoot. It was quite a grungy photo shoot. And it was very moody. It was reminiscent of M. Davies' pregnancy announcement.
It is actually the latest that Sarah's waited to announce her pregnancy. She is 15 weeks pregnant. And it's down to the fact that Kurt has been too busy to film and take photos of the announcement. And Sarah said that she wanted to do something really simple and laid back, but Kurt really wanted to do something out there and epic.
Yeah, but they didn't end up having time. So they did go with Sarah's concept, which I think is quite a rehashed one. As we said, like a lot of influencers are getting into a photo studio, filming their partner, putting their hands on their stomach. Like, it's nothing revolutionary.
There would be so much pressure on Sarah and Kurt to make this a big announcement though, because remember her first baby announcement with Fox? That video has been viewed millions of times.
Yes. The difference is though, that was a massive surprise. Whereas this one, like Sarah has been very open about the fact that she is trying to have a baby. I did enjoy the YouTube video because you did get a real insight into how desperate she really was to have this third baby. And I think the most relatable part of the vlog was the fact that her mum and sisters guessed that she was pregnant because she was so grumpy. So it ended up that the night before she took the pregnancy test, she'd had this big fight with her sister at family dinner. And she said normally they don't actually fight. However, they're very brutal with each other. And this time the brutal comment really got to her and she stormed out. And I was like, this is every family dinner at our house. Like this literally, are you guys pregnant? Because
well, I mean, I was going to put it back on you because I think one of your biggest pregnancy symptoms has been being grumpy. So it was quite relatable. In saying that, I was shocked how many pregnancy tests that she took because aren't those things fairly expensive?
Well, I remember being quite taken aback how expensive pregnancy tests were when I bought one. And I didn't want any confusion. So I did buy the expensive digital one. But I did notice that Sarah had a lot of the cheaper ones where they do the two lines. And then when she thought, okay, I'm pretty sure I am pregnant, she did confirm it with the digital
She
test.
brought out the big boys.
Yeah.
I liked how Sarah said that she's not normally easily offended. And everyone in the comments was like, wait a second, you're offended by this.
Yeah.
I also found it interesting that she told her sister that she was pregnant before Kurt. Maybe it's because this is a contentious topic with us, Kate, because you took, I think, 9 or 10 weeks to tell us anything.
Yeah, but this is her third pregnancy. So I think with your first pregnancy, you need to tell your partner first. Also, did you notice that she inadvertently actually announced her sister's pregnancy?
Yes.
Because she's like, oh, I'm 4 weeks behind you now.
Yeah, but her sister might have already done that on her own Instagram.
But her sister is quite private. So I have noticed that her sister doesn't like to share her daughter's face on social media. But it has popped up a few times on Sarah's channel.
Doesn't she have some podcast? Because isn't she...
She did have a midwife podcast, but I think that's fallen to the wayside. I actually tried to find that recently. One thing that did shock me the most was when Sarah announced the news to her parents, they panned across to the dinner table. They were having takeaway pizza. I nearly died.
Didn't the dad make some joke and say, oh, is it yours, Kurt?
That is just dad's though down to a T because when we shared your announcement to us, Kate, when you revealed it, all of the men were just shaking hands.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's the dad thing, to shake hands and then make a joke about
and
it.
question the paternity.
Well, I think that's just like the Aussie way to kind of make light of the situation.
It is very clear that this type of content really does work for Sarah. We've spoken a lot on this podcast how big milestones like having a baby or getting married is content gold for influencers. And the baby reel announcement has had 2.5 million views so far at the time of recording. She also followed it up with 2 more pregnancy related reels. So she's filmed this video, a get ready with me for her baby announcement photo shoot. That has had 1.4 million views. The second was actually a reel promoting her maternity workout program, Body and Bump. So she said that she's been consistently doing this program since she fell pregnant. That reel has 1.2 million views. So it's pretty clear that this is a very good content strategy for her. I'm not saying she's had the baby for content,
no,
but it's something that draws a lot of interest around her. And I did have a look at Social Blade, and last month she actually lost over 1,500 followers. However, in the last couple of days since she made this announcement, she's attracted 3.1 thousand new followers. And I feel like that number is only going to go up. I do feel like often Sarah will use her baby announcements as a little bit of a redemption arc. We have spoken a lot about how she has been hemorrhaging followers. Do you guys think that this pregnancy announcement will be enough for Sarah to gain relevance in 2024?
Look, I definitely don't think that she's just having a baby because she's had a lull in followers and she's trying to think of a way to get them back.
I'm not saying that, but I think her strategy has been very different than it has been the last pregnancies, because we've never seen her be so open about her conception journey.
Yeah.
She has really been sharing the details. And I think it's also, put a few people off, because people have actually questioned how sensitive she's been, because she is someone that clearly finds it quite easy to fall pregnant. And she spoke a lot about how it was hard on her because it took 4 months this time, whereas last time it only took one try.
Yeah, I mean, I did find it a little bit uncomfortable to put out there, the amount of times that you're trying and going into those sorts of details. I think that the reason she's sharing differently about this pregnancy is because her pregnancy with Malachi was high risk and he had a lot of medical problems, and she probably shut down and didn't want to share about it. And she received a lot of criticism when she did share about it. I also think it's due to the changing nature of social media and TikTok. I think that there are more creators on TikTok who are falling into these niches where they are sharing about their pregnancy journey ahead of time. And I think that she really relates to that content and wants to share it. And she's seen other people do so and not.
She hasn't used the tactic we've seen Aspen Ovard use, which is actually pre-filming the content and then putting it out there, because I think she really did put herself in a vulnerable position to be sharing live updates about how long it was going to take her to conceive.
Yeah, it's interesting though. So if you mentioned Malachi's health problems, I'm surprised she's being so open now because of that experience. I'm almost surprised she didn't pull back completely.
Well, I suppose maybe because she's 15 weeks pregnant, so she has waited a little bit longer. So maybe she's already had a ton of those tests done and she's got the A-OK.
I also think it has to do with the fact that Sarah shared that her sister Emily was struggling with her fertility when Sarah fell pregnant with Malachi so quickly. So I think she was trying to protect her sister as well. It is really difficult when you do make a pregnancy announcement to make sure that you don't upset anyone, because obviously fertility is one of those touchy topics where you are going to trigger people. How do you think she's navigated this process?
I think you do have to be mindful, but at the same time, I think a lot of influencers feel like everything they do is wrong. So it's a very sensitive topic, and one little thing that you say can trigger someone. I think that it might be an unpopular opinion, but I think that she has actually tried really hard not to offend anyone and to do a lot of trigger warnings and preface things that she's very lucky, which we haven't seen her do before.
See, I actually disagree. I think that it can come across as quite disingenuous when you put a disclaimer in, but then still say something that is going to trigger someone. So she has very openly spoken in the last couple of months about how her first baby, Fox, was a love child. And then she said she fell pregnant with Malachi straight away. And that, she detailed how many times she had sex with Kurt in order for that to happen. And now she's almost trying to get sympathy for it taking a couple of months longer than she thought with her third child, even though 4 months is a very quick time around.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. If I was struggling to conceive, I would definitely unfollow Sarah's Day.
And I think the tricky thing with Sarah is that she built her brand originally on talking about fertility issues that she was having. PCOS was such a big part of her channel, and it's so fantastic that she is able to fall pregnant so easily. However, I think because she would know that she has a fan base that probably followed her from the start because they may have potentially had the same fertility issues, it would be difficult to be following this journey along and not be triggered.
I actually think that pregnancy would be a happy time for her, but also a stressful time for her, because she does know that she has the added scrutiny on everything that she does, particularly being a fitness influencer, whether she gets back into it too quickly, whether she's promoting an unhealthy lifestyle.
But she's invited that scrutiny by literally before she's even conceived, inviting people along the journey.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, regardless of what she posts, I think anyone sharing baby news when you're struggling to conceive is going to be upsetting. But I think what you're trying to say, Kate, is that she almost shares too many details about it.